Welcome back to Tuesday. Let's check out what the vendors have for us today, starting in Imperial City Sewers. We have Amulet and Ring of Bandar's Blessing. This week our map is Clockwork City. Clockwork City brings us Livewire, Mad Tinker, and Unfathomable Darkness, as well as a chance for one of 4 book furnishings. If you're not sure how those work, there is a trick to them. Check the link below. I don't recommend getting these this way though. At 6,000 Telvar compared to Guild Trader prices, I just don't think these are worth it. So I would skip that one this week. Our leads, we have Crimson Diamond, which is part of Belharz's band. And this one drops out of Chess in Falkreath Hold, the 4-man dungeon. This one can be troublesome if you're trying to get it, so this is not a horrible option for you. Next, we have Dovra Sabaton Polion. This one is, of course, part of Dovra Sabatons, and this one also drops from a dungeon. This one drops off of ads in Moongrave Fane. I didn't find this one particularly difficult to get. You can go in, even by yourself. There's several ads right at the start, and you could just leave and come back and kill them again. I've had it drop off of those first few ads, so not horrible, but at 25,000 Telvar, it's not a bad buy either. All right, our second jewelry piece is Netch Oil Amulet and Ring. Our scripts, we have Bound Affix Script Berserk, adds Berserk, a buff increasing damage done. Bound Affix Script Protection, adds Protection, a buff reducing damage taken. Bound Focus Script Taunt, adds a taunt of course. And Bound Signature Script Anchorite's Cruelty, adds a Consumed Soul Gem to deal Oblivion damage effect. Last up, we have Fragment of the Vampire Lord. This is one of 5 pieces of Mist Form Violet Purple. This one drops off of the final boss in Kind's Aegis, which is a trial. It will drop in normal, but of course you're going to need some friends to go get it or to use the group finder. So this one is probably worth it at 50,000 Telvar. Remember that these fragments are a guaranteed drop though, so you would only ever have to run it once to make sure that you got the piece. So if you know you can run it, if you have friends to run it with, that's the better option. If you'd rather avoid it altogether, 50,000 Telvar is not horrible. All right, that's it for her. Let's check out the Scholarium and see what scripts he has. Let's see what he has in the Scholarium.
I'm glad.
We have Bound Affix Script Evasion, adds evasion, a buff reducing damage from area effects. Bound Focus Script Shock Damage, adds shock damage. And Bound Signature Script Assassin's Misery, adds improved use of status effects. All right, that's it for him. Let's head to Infinite Archive. Let's see what Filer Ul has.
I had to use magic.
All right, first up we have Hughesbane Treasure Maps. Yet again, probably not worth the 2,000 archival fortunes, but Hughesbane gives us Baraha's Curse and Savara's Scales for gear, as well as a chance for one of 3 book furnishings. Again, there's a link if you're not sure how that works. Our first plan this week is Halalu Sideboard Scholars. This one runs 107 to 135k on PCNA and about 42 to 75k on PCEU. I definitely think this one is worth it at only 2,000 archival fortunes if you need it. But remember, these are bind on pickups. You cannot sell them. This is not a way to get rich. This is just a way to fill in the gaps in your own personal collection. Next, we have Blueprint Necrom Bench Elegant. This one's only 16 to 20k on PCNA and about 9.5 to 10k on PCEU with only 2 listings. This isn't the best deal at 2,000 archival fortunes, but it's not awful either. If nothing else, it's a time saver. So your mileage may vary, but I think it's still probably worth grabbing. Next up, we have the Krog Mask. This one comes from Fungal Grotto 1. So as you guys probably know by now, the style pages drop over about a 4-day window once they're on repeat. It's RNG on whether or not you get it. If you have the achievement for hard mode, you have an easier time getting it, but it's still a rare drop rate. However, Fungal Grotto 1 is arguably the fastest dungeon there is. So while you would have to run it on vet, you could run this on repeat pretty quickly. If you are going to skip any mask, I think it would be this one. I think this one is arguably the easiest mask style page to get, just because you can run it quickly. So you could run this 20, 30 times without spending a ton of time on it. So while 99% of the time I recommend getting the mask, this one could be an exception. Next up, we have Cartographer's Boots. This is one of 7 pieces of the Master Field Cartographer costume. These fragments drop in the Blackreach Greymore Caverns Public Dungeon Nechuthan Karst. The first one each day should be fairly easy. After that, it's RNG. They run about 2 to 3k on PCNA for the pieces, or you can get it for 3,000 archival fortunes. I think I would either try to get this one myself or buy it from traders and save my archival fortunes for something a little more expensive like these plans. Next up, we have companion equipment jewelry. Of the companion equipment you can buy in Infinite Archive, jewelry is the one that I like the most. You're at the mercy of RNG as to what trait you get. They are bound when you buy them this way, so you can't sell them if you don't want it. This one just statistically has the best odds that you'll get something that you can use. Still not my favorite method, though. Our third plan this week is Design Khajiit Vessel Amber. This one runs 8 to 12k on PCNA. Quite a few listings on PCEU, 4k to 34k, but most of them are in that 14 to 20k range. So not a horrible deal, but kind of like the Necron bench, might not be your best option either. Up to you. Our first book this week is Glorious Upheaval. This one drops in Scrivener's Hall, but the eidetic memory is found on shelves in Imperial City. This one can take a hot minute to get the eidetic memory for. Again, if you're not sure how that works, there is a link. Next up, we have Lead Darkheart Leather Cop. This is one of 5 pieces of Rakat's Void Mantle, and this one drops off of the final boss in the trial, Maw of Lorcage. This one's probably worth it. You're not guaranteed to get this one the first run. It drops fairly easily the first time at least, but it's not guaranteed. For 5,000 archival fortunes, I say just snag it. Our second book this week is Melketh's Journal. This one drops in Infinite Archive, and the eidetic memory is also in Infinite Archive. Our scripts, we have Bound Affix Script Force, a buff increasing critical damage. Bound Affix Script Heroism adds Heroism, a buff increasing ultimate generation. Bound Focus Script Mitigation adds damage reduction. And Bound Signature Script Cavalier's Charge adds an increase to damage as ability persists effect. Next up, we have Erroneous Archive Maps. Consume 20 Erroneous Archive Maps to unlock the Walk Through the Mirror Maze achievement and the Shattered Mirror Maze body marks. Here are your Shattered Mirror Maze body marks. Now, personally, I think that these are way too expensive. If you need 20 of them at 3,000 archival fortunes, that's a 60,000 archival fortune body marks. But if you're only missing 1 or 2, even though you can get them guaranteed if you do enough of the Infinite Archive dailies, that wouldn't be horrible, but I say just do your dailies personally. All right, we have Fragment of the Storm. This is one of 6 pieces of the Force Shock Wild Burn skill style and drops from the final boss of Tempest Island, which is a dungeon. This is a guaranteed drop, but if you prefer to avoid dungeons, it is here for 5,000 archival fortunes. And our final lead is Sporecrafter's Purse. This is one of a bunch of pieces, 7 pieces, of the Spore Savant face marks. This comes from the Delve Daily from the reward coffer in Telvanni Peninsula. So you do your Delve Daily, you turn it in, and it could be in that coffer. And here are the Spore Savant face marks. And that's it. Time to run some Infinite Archive and see what gear is dropping this week. We just finished 3 arcs of Infinite Archive, and this week it looks like we're starting off with gear from Reaper's March. That includes Cinch's Bite, Skooma Smuggler, and Soulshine, as well as from Galen, which includes Back Alley Gourmand, Bastion of the Droif, and Phoenix Moth Thurge. And then, like previous weeks, once we get to Arc 3, Reaper's March is replaced by Rivenspire. That includes Darkstride, Necropotence, and Vampire Cloak. So again, Arcs 1 and 2, you'll get Reaper's March and Galen gear, and 3+, you'll get Rivenspire and Galen gear. Again, I think that's a bug. It's probably low priority. We'll keep reporting it as long as it keeps happening. That's going to do it for this week. We'll see you in the next one.